This is the first one that I noticed. It was on Eddie's sweater, and I don't have any explanation, but it looks like a little round blob with a little sort of eye or some sort of hole right there, and it's characteristic of a lot of them. As you'll see in this one right here, right behind the bar, right behind Daisy, it also has this little hole, and it looks like a translucent orb with that little sort of clear hole, like an eye of some sort. This one's a little bit bigger maybe, and it's a little more translucent, but it also, if you look closely at it, has that same sort of characteristic. Now the odd thing is, we shot with several different cameras. These were shot with 2 different cameras. This one was done with a Minolta 2 megapixel camera, and other ones in here were done with a Nikon 6 megapixel digital camera. This one looks like it's actually kind of hiding behind this pillar. Now this one, we shot also some video in this room, and we also got a small orb looking, kind of making a very quick run through the room. And yet in this one right here, here's a picture of one that's a little bit bigger. This was also in another dining room and other rooms that we had also gotten shots of showing orbs going into these rooms. These are a little bit smaller and a little bit brighter. And this one actually looks like a double one. Looks like 2 of them close together. Now the odd thing is, you can't figure out any kind of relationship. And of course, when you're showing them in the still pictures, you can't tell any kind of idea of the motion of them. But they appear, in terms of the video, that they are moving very rapidly. That they, in most cases, pretty fast moving, about as fast as if someone was tossing a ball through a room. And most times they move in straight lines. They don't appear to meander too much. And as we found, they were just in about every room, which just seemed to be somewhat odd. And of course our first inclination was that these are ghosts, based on research that we have done on the internet. Other explanations that we found on the internet were that they were caused by humidity, possibly dust. In this one you can see there's a lot of orbs in here, and this is in the attic at Daisy's house that she's renovating, and we're not exactly sure what these things are. This one's just, and also another area of her attic, they just seem to be all over. So we wanted to try and rule these things out, you know, and make sure that we were accurate with these. So by the option of using 2 different cameras to make sure that it wasn't just a characteristic of one camera and not another, we found that we got the same results with 2 different cameras. And then in this one, you can also see this one looks like it's outside the window, kind of hiding outside. You can't tell if these orbs actually exhibit any sort of purpose of will. They appear to be, from what we can tell in terms of how they position themselves in the picture, or how they're positioned, is that they seem to be shy, if that is a term that could be applied to these things. It seems that the reason that they show up in pictures is that these were all used with an on-camera flash, and that the flash is basically what reflects off of whatever material that this is. If it were a dust particle, it would seem to me that it would not reflect and appear in this manner. It seems to be actually some sort of diaphanous little object, somewhat maybe like a jellyfish. Who knows if this is something actually live? You know, that could be sort of a something that actually moves through the air that we're unaware of, because they are just so simply diaphanous and transparent, and that the only thing that really reveals them is a infrared thermal video camera or in this case, the on-camera flash that reflects off of whatever material that they're made from. If they are made from material, or could they possibly be representations of energy moving through the air? It's all speculation and all the kinds of things that we found on the internet. We also found on the internet that that there were many theories as to what these different orbs could be. And as you can see, I went back and I looked through some of my older pictures, thinking that I had never ever really observed these things, but now going back and looking through, I noticed that I did have some. In this picture right here, you'll notice that there's 3 or 4 of these orbs over this light. I just wanted to try and eliminate the light as being like causing a flare. And then the second picture, taken just very shortly thereafter, they aren't even there, and the angle of the light is very, very similar. And if something were there, it should show up. Those little dots up there were from picture frames. Now, this last one was taken at a basketball game, and up in the rafters, about 3 of those orbs. They seem to be everywhere.